crashed, I attacked, I stabbed, I plotted. I did a lot of stuff. I'm a firm believer that charity begins at home and then it spreads. And then I forgot that part. And so I contributed to the distance in our relationship.
I'm just saying, though, like, I like for you to look a little more like I like for you to look.
I started realizing how faulty I was. The fact that I've been a contentious wife the entire time I've been married to him. I'm sitting up here running around being the face of gospel, encouraging everybody, being more of a really good Christian in theory.
Like, I don't need you for too much of this because I run stuff. I got the baby, so I got love. I don't need the other kind of love. I'm fine, at least for a little while. You know what I mean? Because I got her. You know what I mean? And so he was just, yeah.
What would you do if the person you trusted most shattered your entire world? Not just with heartbreak, but with a betrayal so deep that it changed everything you believed about love, marriage, and loyalty. Now imagine the rumors didn't stop there. For years, social media has been filled with speculation suggesting that someone close to Tina Campbell may have played a role in the painful chapter of her marriage. Those claims have circulated online, but it's important to note that they have never been substantiated or confirmed. What is known is powerful enough on its own. Tina Campbell, gospel music icon, one half of the award-winning duo Mary Mary, and a woman admired for her unwavering faith, has spoken openly about the devastating infidelity that nearly destroyed her marriage. Behind the chart-topping music and inspiring public image was a deeply personal struggle that tested every part of her life. She has shared how the betrayal left her overwhelmed by heartbreak, anger, and emotional pain, describing moments when she questioned everything she thought she knew. Yet instead of allowing bitterness to define her future, she made the difficult decision to pursue healing, forgiveness, and restoration through her faith. But even after taking that path, the journey was far from easy. The emotional wounds didn't disappear overnight, and rebuilding trust became one of the greatest challenges she had ever faced. Her story became about far more than saving a marriage. It became a testimony of resilience, faith, and perseverance in the face of unimaginable pain. Today, Tina is opening up even more about that difficult season, offering an honest look at the struggles she endured, the lessons she learned, and how she found the strength to move forward. Stay with us, because her story is far more powerful than the headlines, and there's much more to uncover.
When we were taping the show, we were taping a reality show called Mary Mary, some of y'all don't know. We went through a season of her finding out everything that I had done.
The person who it was, she used to work for me, and so that broke my heart. She was like a godmother to my children. She had access to my home to come get my kids, and I said, "Are you having an affair with her?" And he said, "No." I said, "Call her." While we're doing this, I was like, "Call her." And so he did.
A lot of people think they already know Tina Campbell's story. But the reason it continues to resonate years later isn't because of internet rumors, it's because of the deeply personal journey Tina herself has shared. This wasn't just a story about infidelity. It was about the painful realization that the life she believed she had was no longer the reality she was living. Let's go back to where it all began. According to Tina's own account, there wasn't one dramatic moment that immediately exposed everything. There wasn't a shocking confrontation or a single piece of evidence that answered every question overnight. Instead, she described a gradual shift, small changes that slowly became impossible to ignore. There were moments when something simply felt different. A phone that suddenly seemed to stay face down. Conversations that ended the moment she entered the room. An emotional distance that quietly grew between two people who had once seemed inseparable. At first, Tina questioned herself more than anyone else. She prayed, searched for peace, and tried to convince herself she was reading too much into ordinary situations. She wanted to believe nothing had changed. After all, Teddy Campbell wasn't only her husband. He was her closest partner, the father of their children, and the person with whom she had built both a family and a successful career. That's what makes betrayal so heartbreaking. It rarely arrives all at once. More often, it begins with subtle changes that slowly erode trust until the truth can no longer be ignored. When Tina eventually learned about her husband's repeated infidelity, she has said the revelation completely shattered her world. In interviews and public discussions, she described the experience as one of the darkest seasons of her life, a painful reality that forced her to re-evaluate years of trust, love, and shared memories. As her story became widely known, online speculation grew even more dramatic. Over the years, social media users circulated additional claims involving people who were allegedly close to Tina. Those rumors attracted significant attention online, but they have never been supported by credible evidence or confirmed by those involved. What is confirmed is powerful enough on its own. Tina has spoken candidly about the emotional devastation she experienced after discovering the affairs, the overwhelming heartbreak that followed, and the difficult path she ultimately chose toward healing, forgiveness, and rebuilding her life through faith.
Tina wants to know, and I said, are you sleeping with my husband? And she hung up the phone, so I had my answer. So it broke my heart. I destroyed 3 cars. I cut up and crashed up and tried to stab and plotted murders and all kind of crazy stuff because I was angry.
Since then, I found out about more. And I don't want to hold on to somebody who I cannot trust. You see, I have been trying since the very beginning. The situation gets a little worse, and then I try to forgive, and it gets a little worse, and I try to forgive. You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? I thought we had a good life just like everybody else watching. I was 190% committed to that man, and this is what you did every time I was gone.
Tina has never described that season of her life as ordinary heartbreak. Instead, she has said it felt as though something precious had been taken from her. It wasn't only the loss of trust, it was the loss of peace, security, and the future she believed she and her family were building together. While she was traveling, performing, recording music, and sharing messages of faith with audiences around the world, she later realized that serious problems had been developing within her marriage, struggles she hadn't fully understood at the time. That's the betrayal Tina has spoken about. The emotional impact went far beyond sadness. It shook the very foundation of her marriage and forced her to question everything she thought she knew about the relationship they had built over the years. In interviews and in her own testimony, Tina has been remarkably candid about how deeply the experience affected her. She has described feeling consumed by anger, battling destructive thoughts, and struggling with emotions that seemed completely at odds with the woman of faith she had always tried to be. She has said it became one of the darkest and most painful chapters of her life. Then came one of the most difficult conversations she would ever have. According to Tina's own account, Teddy Campbell eventually acknowledged that he had been repeatedly unfaithful during their marriage. Hearing that admission forced Tina to confront a painful reality she never imagined facing and marked a turning point in one of the greatest personal challenges of her life.
What you said? You looked at me. You was mad because she was. She looked at me one time. She's like, "Don't you think you deserve to die?" And I was like,
"Wow."
I said, "Yeah."
Oh.
I said, "Yeah." I said, "The wages of sin is death." I said, if you kill me, I'm going to be with the Lord.
Because I repented.
But if you don't, I'm gonna make this up.
According to Tina Campbell's public account, Teddy didn't try to deny what had happened. He also didn't place the blame on anyone else. Instead, Tina has shared that Teddy acknowledged the pain his actions had caused, accepted responsibility for his unfaithfulness, and expressed a sincere desire to repair their marriage. As devastated as she was, a part of Tina still believed restoration might be possible. That decision became one of the defining moments of her journey. After everything she had discovered, after the heartbreak, the anger, and the overwhelming sense of betrayal, she made the difficult choice to stay and fight for her marriage rather than walk away. From the outside, that decision can be hard for some people to understand. But Tina has explained that when you've spent decades building a life with someone, raising children together, sharing your faith, and creating a future side by side, ending the relationship isn't simply walking away from a marriage. It can feel like losing an entire part of who you are. So she chose a different path. She chose forgiveness. Not because the pain suddenly disappeared. Not because trust was instantly restored. And not because rebuilding would be easy. She chose forgiveness because she believed healing was still possible. Tina has spoken openly about how that healing didn't happen overnight. It came through prayer, honest conversations, counseling, accountability, and the difficult work of rebuilding trust one day at a time. According to her, Teddy also committed himself to repairing the relationship. She has said he accepted responsibility for his actions and worked consistently to earn back the trust he had broken. Slowly, the foundation of their marriage began to change. What once seemed beyond repair gradually became a story of perseverance, accountability, and grace. While the scars of the past didn't simply disappear, Tina has shared that both she and Teddy chose to keep moving forward together. For a time, it appeared that their story was taking a different direction. The marriage that many people believed could never recover became an example of two people choosing to confront painful truths, rebuild what had been broken, and search for hope even after one of the most difficult seasons of their lives.
If you know, I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah, I'll make this up to you.
He said,
I broke it.
if you divorce me, I'm gonna pursue you till I get you
Yeah,
back.
I did tell her.
And I was like, I didn't know.
She knew I
know
meant it.
exactly where we were in our house when that man said that, and I was like, he means it. He do to get me back. He did everything he said he was going to do. He did everything that he said he was going to do. So in the spirit, he went.
There was nothing easy about forgiveness. Tina Campbell has never portrayed it as a simple choice or a quick road to healing. Instead, she has spoken openly about the emotional work it required, facing heartbreak, anger, disappointment, and questions she never imagined she would have to ask herself. For a time, it seemed as though she and Teddy were moving toward restoration. Their marriage continued. Their ministry continued. Mary continued performing. From the outside, many people assumed life had returned to normal. But healing doesn't always happen where the world can see it. Behind the performances, the interviews, and the smiles, Tina has said she was fighting a deeply personal battle. The betrayal had left wounds that couldn't be healed overnight, and rebuilding her sense of peace became just as important as rebuilding her marriage. She has shared that she struggled with difficult questions about her identity, her confidence, and even her purpose. There were moments when she wondered whether she would ever truly move beyond the pain or fully regain the peace she had lost. Those were battles the audience never witnessed. Fans saw the concerts. They heard the music. They celebrated the success. What they didn't see were the private prayers, the emotional conversations, and the daily effort it took to keep moving forward. According to Tina's own testimony, the greatest struggle wasn't only processing Teddy's betrayal. It was confronting the fear, self-doubt, resentment, and emotional scars that lingered long after the truth came to light. For her, healing wasn't a single breakthrough. It wasn't one conversation. And it certainly wasn't one decision. It was a journey, one prayer, one step, and one day at a time. As Tina's story became more widely known, additional rumors began circulating online. Among them were claims involving people close to the Campbell family, including allegations about Erica Campbell. Those stories have spread across social media and gossip websites for years, but there is no credible evidence supporting those allegations, and they have not been confirmed by Tina Campbell or Erica Campbell. What is documented is far more significant. Tina has consistently spoken about the pain caused by her husband's infidelity, the emotional devastation that followed, and the difficult path she chose toward forgiveness, healing, and rebuilding her life through faith. Her story serves as a reminder that public attention can sometimes blur the line between verified facts and online speculation. While rumors often continue to circulate long after they first appear, Tina's own words remain focused on her personal journey of resilience, restoration, and the strength it took to move forward despite one of the most difficult chapters of her life.
Because of all my mistakes, because I didn't get the last test right, because I was not an honorable wife to my husband because he pissed me off, so I let it rip. When I was mean and intimidating to my children because they wasn't doing well in school and I didn't help them with love. So I'll be over here dealing with my own condemnation, some of the choices that I've made that have caused, consequences that ain't wonderful. Be over here that will be all up in your mind. And are you actually going to get back out there and sing? Do anybody even want to hear you?
There came a point when Tina Campbell realized she couldn't carry the burden alone anymore. As she has shared publicly, her prayers were no longer focused only on saving her marriage or protecting her career. She was praying for the strength to make it through each day. The woman millions had come to know as a voice of faith found herself wrestling with heartbreak, disappointment, and questions she never imagined she would have to face. Tina has spoken candidly about feeling emotionally drained and struggling to understand why her life had taken such a painful turn. For someone whose identity was deeply rooted in faith, it became one of the greatest tests she had ever experienced. Betrayal doesn't only damage a relationship. It can shake your confidence, your sense of purpose, even the way you see yourself. Tina has said that healing meant more than repairing her marriage, it meant rebuilding her own heart. And that process took time. There wasn't a single moment when everything suddenly became okay. The pain didn't disappear overnight. The memories didn't simply fade away. Instead, she chose to keep moving forward, one prayer, one conversation, and one day at a time. Over the years, that difficult season has become the foundation of a message she now shares with others. Tina often speaks to people who have experienced betrayal, disappointment, or broken trust, reminding them that healing is possible even after life's deepest wounds. Her message today is no longer centered solely on what happened. It's about what she learned because of it. Looking back, Tina has reflected on the years she invested in her marriage through love, commitment, faith, and forgiveness. She has acknowledged that the journey was incredibly difficult and that the emotional cost was immense, but she has also spoken about the growth, grace, and renewed perspective that came through perseverance. As her story became more widely known, additional rumors continued to circulate online, including unverified allegations involving members of her family and inner circle. Those claims have appeared on social media and gossip platforms over the years, but they have never been supported by credible evidence or confirmed by the people involved. What is publicly documented is Tina's own testimony, her honest account of enduring betrayal, rebuilding her life, strengthening her faith, and choosing healing over bitterness. Rather than allowing one of the darkest chapters of her life to define her, Tina has transformed that experience into a source of encouragement for others walking through similar pain. Today, her story is remembered not simply because of the heartbreak she endured, but because of the resilience she demonstrated, the faith she held onto, and the hope she found on the other side of one of life's most difficult storms.